This is your shortcut to already converting ads, and let me explain how. Maybe you're coming in with the understanding that, hey, I'm already running ads, but the lead quality is very low, the amount of motivation of the people coming in is very low, and the financial capability of the people coming in from ads is low as well too. Or maybe you haven't run a single ad before, but you want to get into the ad game, and maybe your current client acquisition, it just completely is based upon referrals and just content distribution, and you want to upgrade into ads. Well, guess what, guys? This is your shortcut to converting ads. And with the over 100, maybe 300 different sales systems, currently on our membership, we really know what it takes to make an ad convert. So if you're experiencing those difficulties and you finally want to triumph with your ads, or maybe you haven't even run ads, you just want the shortcut to success, well, we got it. Let's copy and paste it over to your current sales system and let's bring you as many layups, what I call layups, qualified leads, ready to buy as possible. So we can probably scale your credit or funding business. So let me share my screen right now and show exactly what this entails. Because the typical agency might run it after you, throw in the campaign, and just pray to God that this shit works. We don't do that. We don't rely on miracles. We don't really promise miracles, but we're a results-based agency. Meaning the more money we make you, the more I'm getting paid. So we need to have proper systems and based upon statistics and stats and data to actually bring you, as many high chances of converting leads as possible. What I call this is I call this a layup. In order to really make that happen is really keeping track of lead quality very, very, very heavily. So with that understanding, this is how we do things. First, obviously, we give you all of the ad scripts. Start from the top to bottom, guys. We give you all the ad scripts. We got an incredible credit repair and funding Rolodex of just the best converting ads that are already proven to convert that you can probably just take, copy, and paste it and implement it right away. Boom, you already have a successful that's already proven to convert. So now once you already made those ads, once you already have that already handled for you, what you're also going to be greeted with is our battlefield over here. This battlefield shows exactly what's going on in your business. And if you're the typical business owner that's focused on what's actually important, making more sales, this is exactly for you. It pretty much gives you a quick rundown on your sales system and how the ads are actually performing in your favor. So over here, this battlefield, this timeline view over here gives you the exact understanding of when things are being launched, when changes are made, and an overall understanding of throughout the entire process of building and launching and maintaining your sales system, what is going on over here. Media buying section over here. Now, this is my favorite part over here. This is the actual battlefield. So daily client reporting over here is going to come along with a lead quality management system over here. Don't really worry about that just yet. Over here is where it's my favorite shit over here, guys. Because we're a results-based agency, like I said, we don't just throw in a campaign and pray this works. What we do is we understand what's going on in your ads, and based upon what's actually converting, we push a budget to what's actually converting. Let's say we run three ads for you: ad A, B, and C. Let's say ad A over here is not doing so well. The lead quality from 1 to 5 is like 1 on a year on average. Ad B over here is like 1 or 2. We're not really making too many sales. Lead quality is low. The ad three over here is getting you consistent 4 to 5 lead quality, and you're actually making deals on this. It only makes sense to cut out 1 and 2 and push the budget to 3 because that's what's making you money. So to be able to get a grand understanding of how to optimize your ads, this is what we do. Whenever you get a sales funnel in here, whenever you get a lead over here, guys, you have something over here called lead journey and the lead quality. Now, lead journey over here is going to show like the ad ID, ad a one as an example. It's going to throw a series of numbers based on the Facebook ad. And that'll automatically be imported onto here. Good fit or bad fit over here. This can be done by your appointment center or by yourself over here. Now, engaged over here, scheduled, show up, and deal close is based upon the actual pipeline movements in this sales cycle, in this client journey over here. What I'm trying to say about here is engaged all the way to deal close is automatically inputted for you. Good fit over here, you can put on here. Your appointment setter can change it up here, um, as need be. But like I'm saying over here is in the opportunity section, keeps in track of their, schedule, hot, sold, in which case it'll update this lead journey accordingly. Excuse me. This is where I really need information from you guys. Yeah, credit utilization. Yeah, how many negatives, credit history, inquiries, credit card limit, and common objections. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These 5 different questions that we're asking you based upon each specific lead over here, this makes up a good funding client. If the credit utilization is below 20, if they have no negatives, if their credit histories, no maxed out business funding, inquiries are less than three in the past 6 months, they have at least 10K credit card history. This is a good qualified lead. This is a good qualified person that can then be funded. On that sales call, boom, this is what I want. I want more of these type of calls, you know? And then so then now you know that ad one over here is bringing these really, really good quality leads. I press save over here based upon the questions answered. It's going to pop up one, two, three, four, five. It's going to give you the sum of scores and it's going to give you the average of the scores. So even if you honestly, if you put like one, two, three, four of these questions answered, it's going to give you questions answered four over here and then give you the average lead quality based upon those four questions that are answered over there. Entire point of this really is to be able to give you that lead quality score based upon you know, how many answers are how many questions are answered, gives you that lead quality score. That's populated into an Excel sheet. And then on that actual Excel sheet, we're then able to then get the average lead quality score based upon the actual ads that are running from you. And ultimately, what that allows us to do is really just allocate a budget to what's actually working in your business. So now, guys, I don't really see a simplest way of making this, to be honest. And based upon years, 6 years plus in the making of really dialing in this lead quality management system, this is the best way I found it. And of course, too, if you guys have different questions, to make up a qualified client, don't hesitate to let us know. We can change this according, no problem. But this is just based upon, our experience, what we've seen with these guys, with our funding clients that we're running, and in our own funding business as well, too. So this makes sense? Perfect. If you have any questions on this, there's a little blue chat icon here, or just comment on the video. I want to answer your questions so I can make sure you guys are making mas moolah. All right, guys. So you're gonna get this over here, this entire lead quality management system. You're gonna be able to also get the benefit over here. So you get the weekly reports of what's going on here, even the monthly reports of what's going on. Now, guys, I absolutely love this. Let me show you what it looks like. Let me pull up one quick template over here, the weekly plan of attack, to show you what this really comes along with. You got guys, we track this shit, right? We don't just hope on miracles. We don't hope on just playing the lottery and hope it works. Screw that. That's not a business. We want to make sure everything is completely tracked weekly and that we have a weekly plan of attack, weekly or monthly. So based upon filling out the KPI sheet over here, this is updated daily, guys, because based upon the quality over here. That'll give us the last 7 days of KPIs over here to make sure that we're actually on plan of hitting your goals, keeping track of your KPIs, so that we're hitting so that we're making sure that we're keeping track of your KPIs, so that we're actually hitting your financial goals. And making sure that everything's within KPIs and we're scaling incrementally, with nothing stopping us, holding us back over here. With that understanding, click through. You want to hit 3%. Cost per schedule around 50 to 80. Show up rate, you want to at least $80. Cost per close for credit at least $300. Funding at least $1,000. You want to make sure we're hitting those KPIs so that we're actually scaling, with absolute predictability over here. Now, check this out. What this is going to give us is every week we're going to be able words. We're going to be able to get an understanding of the problems that we're having. Last week's plan, did it work? Did we change? Do we need to change up anything up this month over here? This week's plan over here, what's going to depend on? Be able to get us an understanding of what we need to attack this week, what we need to attack this month to really make sure that this is honed in and scaling predictably for you. And of course, we also have the monthly plan of attack as well, too. Let me pull this up over here. Let this load up. Cool. Now, same exact thing with weekly, but just more of a grand scale of things. This really to be able to keep our team accountable with what problems are arising in your business and how we're going to handle those problems. I can't promise miracles over here. I can't promise that we're going to put out an ad. This is instant work over here. That just doesn't make any sense. And you're a business owner yourself. That most of the time, yeah, we can pray on miracles, but we're going to expect the worst and we're going to prepare for the worst. This is exactly how we're doing it. We're going to understand that, yes, we do have a lot of proven success. So we're going to copy and paste what's already working, but have an understanding that we can't just guarantee, winning a lottery ticket over here. We can't guarantee a miracle. So there probably is going to be a couple of issues arising. Maybe the click-through rate is a little higher than 3%. Maybe the cost per schedule is a little bit lower than 80. Maybe the show-up rate is a little lower than 80% over here. Maybe the cost per close is a little lower than $300 or $1,000 per funded client. In which case, based upon really keeping track of these KPIs, we're able to then target what we need to fix, figure out the exact problem that's causing this issue and this fluctuation of the KPIs, and then make sure that we are, our entire team is nailing that problem down so we can actually solve it and making sure they're hitting the KPIs and scaling, predictably. So this is just more of a macro view of the actual problems that might arise in scaling your sales system and what we need to do to make sure this happens. Sometimes it's as simple as, hey, we might just need to push the budget on Fridays because we're having a lower schedule amount on there. Whatever it might be, we make sure that it happens and we work with you on a results basis, meaning that if we have to hop on as many Zoom calls as possible, we'll make sure that happens. We need to optimize your sales system within under 12 hours. We'll make sure that happens. We're constantly split testing your funnels, we're constantly split testing your ads to make sure that you're as successful as possible so that when you are, we make more money. And then last thing that I really want to show you guys over here is our actual funding brain. So we have a funding brain and we have a credit repair brain. Now, this credit repair and funding brain, really the same thing. But what it does is it gathers all our clients and your clients as well, too, your sales data. All your sales calls, we take those, we transcribe them and throw them into the marketing brain because the marketing brain is able to combine all the common objections, the common wins, what people want, the friction-based objections that people have, throw into an ad copy, throw it into our actual scripts for videos that we're recording for ads, and even as far as content distribution, including SEO-based keywords to rank those videos up. This AI marketing brain for credit and funding handles all of that based upon what people actually want to hear, based upon the common objections that people have on these sales calls that you're experiencing over here. So this does a fantastic job of really allowing us to really optimize the copy as well too in the right direction based upon the actual KPIs that we have. Understand that Facebook, Meta, Instagram that we're running ads on, it's running an algorithm based upon AI. You know, you put out ads out there, the AI really transcribes your video ad, your copy, your the video, excuse me, the image graphic that you have in that on that ad, and then takes that transcription, uses the AI, and puts that ad out to those that will resonate to it. So, with the understanding that that algorithm is completely based upon AI, it only makes sense to optimize our ads with AI involved to make sure that you're getting as much of a layup. That's what I call a qualified client as possible. That's our job, to make you more money, to bring as many layups as possible so you have easier sales calls and so that you're making more money. The more money you make, the more you get paid. And the final things I want to go over here, guys, is the actual ads. The ads that we run a three-prong approach over here. The approach is, cold audience ads. We're testing out between graphics and video ads over here. We give you all the scripts that are already proven to convert. That's our cold audience. That's around, 60 to 70% of the budget, of the 10% of testing, another 10 to 20% on the hammer strategy. Hammer strategy is what I call the famous strategy, in which case you're rotating all your best content, all value-based videos, all common objection videos, videos kind of like this that shows the process of what it is to be a credit or funding client with you guys. Videos like this that really just build trust. We use that in the what I call the famous strategy, the hammer strategy. Jeremy Hines, kind of pioneered the strategy. And what this really does is it rotates all your best content and FAQ type videos to the people in terms of when they actually click on a video between the time where they actually, sign up with you, rotates all your best content. You're looking to have like 20, 30 videos on here without it repeating. So that ultimately it just builds trust. And by being able to have these prospects see a whole bunch of your freaking content in a really, really short amount of time, these people hop on these sales calls. They really trust you a whole lot. They're like, yo, they're looking like above to you. They're like, yo, you're famous. I've seen a whole bunch of your content. I trust you. And here, just take my freaking money already. And the last portion of the ad that we run is obviously the retargeting portion. So cold audience, famous strategy, and then retargeting. Retargeting is another 10% of the budget to make sure that anybody that clicks that hasn't signed up yet, or maybe in that hot limbo stage where they're like, hey, I got to ask my wife, or I might need to do X, Y, and Z before I actually buy. That is the retargeting strategy, just to bring them back into the sales call to eventually buy, guys. But yeah, guys, that is the strategy. We're ready to get started with this. You guys already know how to reach out to me or just click the link down below. I'm excited to run this up with you with the understanding the more money I make you guys, the more we end up getting paid. So it's only in our best interest to help you out, make as much money as possible, and really work and partner up with you guys. With that being said, thank you guys for watching. Don't hesitate to reach out if you guys have any questions, comments, concerns. And guys, let's make some moolah. Talk to you guys later. Peace.